Yeah, it's the little things in life. Let me tell you what. I got to tell you. Our studio clock, this atomic clock, right, that runs, it locks into the atomic clock somewhere in Colorado, I think. Anyway, so it's right there, right? Atomic clock. It's right there. And the glare, it was kind of weird, and I just couldn't see it. It was like this weird thing going on. And I've been putting up with it for like 3 months. And I know you guys, probably watching me on the bunker cam going, what? Now I can see it. I can see the clock. Oh, man. To the 10th of a second, too. Right? Okay. All right. It's Monday. How you doing? What a great week we've got coming up. Tonight, of course, Holly Marie is here, and a great friend of the show. She's been on with us many, 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 many times, and tonight we're going full shaman tonight, and her journey and what is involved, all of that tonight. And I think that's a big mystery for a lot of people, too. You go and you experience this stuff, or you research it, and you try, and so tonight is the real deal. So we're going to do that. And she's going to be with us here in a few short minutes. Plus, tomorrow night, Jason Louv is here. Now, tomorrow night's a big show with Jason because we are going to, the last time he was on, we talked about John Dee and his new book. Yes, and it was great. But it introduced you to Jason Louv. He's one of the brightest guys out there. And tomorrow we're going to do technology. And he has done some work, man, with artificial intelligence, with the big companies. And his knowledge in robotics and now and AI and the internet and our future and the implications, there's nobody better. That's tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, we're going to introduce you to Tracy Garbutt. That's right. And you don't know who Tracy is. I know that. Well, maybe you do. Okay? And that is Wednesday night. And here we go. I can see the clock. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985. You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? It's Monday, June 25th, 2018. 175 days into the new year, just 189 days left. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's Monday, man. I am ready to go. Seriously. All fired up. Tonight, Holly Marie is here. And we're going to talk about the science of the shamanic arts. Yeah. I cannot wait for this show. She's the best. Haven't had her on in so long. I don't know how that happens, but it does, right? It does. Sometimes you're just too close to the fire, and I get that. So Holly is with us tonight. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv. Jason Louv is back. We're going to talk technology. The last time Jason was on the show, we did his new book, John D. An amazing book, by the way. Absolutely amazing book. But and he's great when it comes to magic and all of that stuff. That's what he does, right? That's what Jason does. But Jason is also a writer, a columnist about technology. And he has worked for the biggest companies. He has worked on projects. He's worked on the future. He's worked on AI. He's done all of this and could still be doing it now, right? Well, we'll find out about all of that tomorrow, where technology is today, how it is affecting our lives, and how it is going to affect our future. Everything, robotics, AI, AR, right? Okay, so that's tomorrow night. You're not going to want to miss that show. Jason Louv tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night, I am introducing you to Tracy Garbutt. That's right. You're going to find out who Tracy is on Wednesday. And we are going to, with Tracy, now you can go read her bio. You can do that, right? You can do that. Very smart. You can look up her TEDx talk. Okay, you can check that out. But Tracy's going to be with us on Wednesday, and we are going to talk about experiencers, the researchers behind it, the research behind it, how she, in doing what she does, how she researches this and her own life's experiences when it comes to ET and other things. So that is Wednesday. That is going to be a true not to miss show on Wednesday. So we have got an amazing week lined up. And Thursday is another Fader night, and it'll be open lines all night long. There you go. Another amazing week on Fade to Black. Now, for those of you out there, I can't say on this show right now what I want to say on the show. I can't because we're using YouTube for our live stream. They have the best streaming services out there. They really, really do. They've got streaming on lockdown, right? They own the internet. So I can't say what I want to say. But the article about what I want to say is posted over at OnStellar, onstellar.com, OnStellar.com. Spent the weekend with OnStellar. They were with us downtown at Disclosure Fest. Did you guys see all the pictures? I know that there was a lot of stuff that was posted online. We had an amazing time. Still don't have the official head count. I don't know if there ever will be, but my, what a weekend. And I don't know, 35, whatever you can pack into 35 acres, and you go shoulder to shoulder and you just fill it up full of people. That's what that was. So I don't know. I have no idea. It was amazing, though. Absolutely amazing. So spent the weekend with OnStellar down there, and hello to everybody that went to Disclosure Fest and came out and hung out with us. It was just an amazing event. You know, and if you were there, you know exactly what I'm saying. It was just thousands and thousands and thousands of really, really cool awakened souls. Absolutely amazing. Somebody said, I was down there, and somebody said, man, this must be what Woodstock was like, right? A hippie fest. I said, I don't know if it's a hippie fest. And then I kind of had to back up, and I looked around and went, well, it's kind of hippie-ish. Man, it was so much fun. We just had a great time. So, Onstellar, ONSTELLAR.com. Go and check out the article that I posted today. Big news about the FDA. Okay, so, and that stuff that I'm not allowed to mention on the show because of Google. Yeah. And I went over to the Google AdSense banned products and names list. Oh, man. Go peep that out. That'll freak you out. To see what Google bans, but they're okay with, ISIS videos. Oh, man. But the stuff that they've got banned, some of it I agree with, but 99% of it there, it's just, it's hysterical. It's all anti, anything that's anti-big pharma, they're all over it. Okay, onstellar.com. Go register. Use my referral code Jimmy, Jimmy. Get registered. Rita and I were talking yesterday and today, and I just spent so much time over there reading everybody's articles and what they're posting. And you guys are smart. The information that is over at Onstellar, what everybody is sharing in those articles, I read one right before, you know what? It's posted, right? It's posted publicly. So if it's posted publicly on Onstellar, can I read it on the air? I'm going to do it. This is from Drizzler. Okay? This is from Drizzler on Onstellar. I'm just going to read this to you. It's the number 2 trending article right now. It's it's called Ghost Story, My First Encounter. And he says, when I was around 8 years old, my family and I were moving from Miami to Bartow, Florida. We were building a house on the property we just purchased. My mother put a mobile home in the front so we could live there until the house was built. My stepbrother and myself stayed there while the rest of the family was moving stuff. My stepbrother and I were sleeping in the living room on a mattress we had. Nothing much in the house because of us just moving. One night around 2 a.m., I woke up from sleep and heard a voice calling my name, Joseph. It wasn't threatening or anything like that. I heard someone calling me a few times at that point. I got up and looked towards the kitchen. I noticed a male figure standing in the hallway between the kitchen and the living room. He was smiling at me, but not in a weirdo way. I asked, "Who are you and what do you want?" I said it many times and woke up my stepbrother. He was fresh out of the Army. He jumped up, grabbed his revolver by the mattress, pointed the gun at the man, and yelled, "What do you want and what are you doing in our house?" He clearly saw the man as I did. My stepbrother quickly turned on the lights in the living room, and we both saw the man disappear into thin air. We didn't know what was going on. My stepbrother ran into the kitchen and all around the house. This really freaked us out, really bad. We ended up staying up the rest of the night until the sun came up. It rattled him so bad, we didn't talk about it to anyone beyond our immediate family. Fast forward 20 years. My mother was looking through a bunch of old photos to give to me and my wife. She wanted me to have something so we could make a photo album. I ran across a black and white photo and it freaked me out. I yelled, "This is him. I know that he's the one. He's the ghost we talked about when I was 8. My mother stopped and said, "This is your real dad, Lamar Mitchell. He died when you were 8 years old." Wow. How was that? How was that? That is what is getting posted. I mean, the family over at Onstellar, the articles that are getting posted over there are amazing. Drizzler, I commented right before the show. I was just reading through all these articles today. I said, "Drizzler, you got to call in, man. You got to call in." Let's see. Hold on. He just, "Hey, Jimmy, thanks for the read, buddy." Oh, wait. I guess okay. All right. He says he'll call into the show one day. Okay. All right. Man, that just kicked off Siri. And that's just creepy. Look, Siri's going off right now, everybody. Kind of turn that off. Drizzler, you just got read, my man. All right. So that is That is Onstellar, ONSTELLAR.com. And when you register, send me a friend request. Come and hang out with us. The information, the sharing, the family, it's just incredible. And very soon, we've got all these updates that just happened. And very soon, we're going to have our video channels up. We're going to have some chat features. We're going to have some other types of interaction, chat type features, wink, wink. We're going to add those. And it's everything that you want out of a social media site. The blockchain is coming. You're going to have free tokens as soon as you register. Use my promo code, Jimmy, referral code. You're going to get 15 extra tokens. So just go. The token economy is going to kick in with our OnStellar tokens. And then we're off to the races of having fun and rewarding those for all of this exciting research. As I just mentioned, we just spent the weekend over at Disclosure Fest. I want to thank Adrian and Jeremy for putting on one premier event. I mean, it was absolutely amazing from start to finish. I can't believe how much it has grown. I have no idea what to expect next year. Lots to top, but it was an amazing weekend. I've got some breaking news. This morning, Pawn Stars star Richard Harrison, known as the Old Man, died in Las Vegas after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. He was only 77 years old. And I was talking to Rita this morning. I said, he looked like he was 87 10 years ago when the show premiered. And I'm just saying he was not in good health because he was 77 today when he passed. And there you go. But his family was by his side. Cool dude. So there you go. The old man passed away today. Don't forget to sign up for our Soul Tech gathering at ECETI Ranch. I've got some announcements that I can't do today, but I'm going to do it hopefully in a couple of days. We're going to get the website changed around because I want to announce a couple of things that we're going to be doing up there. And but you can go and register now, soultechgathering.com. There are a few tickets left. And thank you. I cannot wait to get up there. Remember, when you register, and you get the full weekend package, you are also going to get the very cool, very limited edition Soul Tech t-shirts. Yeah. So think about that. So go now, soultechgathering.com. We're going to have Corey Good's going to be there as my special guest. James Gilliland, Jason Quitt, Matthew Ryan, Michaela Sheldon, Teresa Yanaris, Holly Marie, who's on the show with us tonight. Mary Gabrielle, John Lund, Dana Harvey, Billy Carson, Laura Cantu, and Christine Contini are all going to be there. So I just can't wait for this weekend to kick off. Now, we are almost in July, and then right after that, it's going to be a blink, and we will be up at Soul Tech. And then a week later, August 17th through the 19th, I'll be out in Colorado, Loveland, Colorado, for Dimensions of Disclosure with Corey Good, David Wilcock, Emery Smith, Teresa Yanaris, Gerald O'Donnell, Jordan Sather, and 20 other speakers and presenters. You can just go right now to dimensionsofdisclosure.com for tickets and info. Right there in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 875 archive shows right there for you. Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. And all you have to do is click on our podcast banner, jimmychurchradio.com. You can also become a Fadernaught. And I wrote so many emails this weekend to brand new Fadernauts that have come over. So welcome, everybody. And if you're on the bunker cam right now, you got all of that going. What's going on? It's simple. Membership section, click. You can get, if you wish, commercial-free downloadable archives. You can get the bunker cam, and you get an email to me, a private email to me. And if you get the Game Changer, you'll also get that famous Fade to Black gear, the autographed hats, T-shirts, all that stuff. Become a member today over in our membership section on jimmychurchradio.com. And don't forget about all of our sponsors here. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana Food Storage, and, of course, Bearing Optics. Let's get the show cracking. Yeah. Are you ready? Happy birthday today to Ricky Gervais. He's 57. Today, Carly Simon is 73. You're So Vain. You're So Vain came out in 1972. I was 9 years old. And I'm going to say this. Today, that song freaked me. It's such a great song, right? I'm 9 years old. I love my music. I could not wait. Had my little AM radio that had that little speaker, the earphone that only went in one ear. Remember the white thing, right? And I would listen to that, listen for that song. And it was just a great song. Boom, 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 right? That bass line. Boom, 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 right? Okay. Now, today, when I read the actual lyrics to that song, I clearly didn't understand any of it when I was 9. Clouds in my coffee. I thought it was grounds in my coffee. Well, that's what you think, right? She made sure that a 9-year-old didn't understand any of it. There you go. Happy birthday, Carly Simon, 73 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today. Yeah, I knew this was coming too. Anthony Bourdain, 1956 to 2018, died at the age of 61. Chef and host of the food and culture shows No Reservations and Parts Unknown. He published his well-known book, Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly, back in 2000. And he left this planet just 2 short weeks ago on June 8th, 2018. Happy birthday, Bourdain. I know you're listening. Aight. On this day in history, it's weird. 2009, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, dies at the age of 50. All right? So there you go. So let's perk this thing up. Let's perk it up a little bit. It's kind of a drag. On this day in history, OTD, 2009, the king of pop. No, that's it. That was a teaser. Back in 2015, John Brennan, while head of the CIA, had his AOL email account hacked by Kane Gamble, the 15-year-old leader of Crackers with Attitude. And that is your Fader fact. 15 years old. I remember when that broke, when that story broke, and I read how Kane did it. I'm just going to say that the director of the CIA, for Kane to have hacked his account like he did, Brennan asked for it. That's all I got to say. Kane Gamble, 15 years old. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I guess so. It's public knowledge, right? He's 15 years old. Yeah, well, Kane Gamble, Crackers with Attitude. Tonight, Holly Marie is here. We're going to talk about the science of the shamanic arts. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv is back, and we're going to be talking technology all night tomorrow night. Wednesday night, Tracy Garbett is joining the show for the first time. Thursday is another Fader night. Open lines all night long. Now, man, I can't believe I can look at the studio clock and actually see it. Wow, incredible. Incredible. Here we go. If you think drones, also known as unmanned aerial vehicles, also known as UAVs, drones, are at the peak of their evolution, it's time to think again, because China is using the technology, wait for it, disguised as birds. That's right, buds. To spy on the Chinese, their own residents, their own towns, their own cities. And I'm not joking. Keep your seats. Buckle up, kids. Listen to this. We all know what the basic job of a drone is. It involves monitoring ground activity and conducting critical reconnaissance missions, maybe filming for a movie, sporting events, right? Now, most countries in the world are employing the technology to monitor their borders. We're doing it. Everybody's doing it, right? Okay? Sporting events right now, FIFA, the World Cup, all that, right? We know this. But right now, China, in order to ensure that they have success in spying on their own people, they want to make sure that they remain unseen. That's right. So what are they doing? They're building drone birds. That's right. Flapping wings. Drone birds. These engineers over in China are doing everything they can to make them stealth. Now, a report from the South China Morning Post, the SCMP, has revealed that China's government and military agencies have taken this unique approach. That's right. They've developed sneaky bird-like drones that monitor the activity of their own population living in different parts of the country. Launched by more than 30 Chinese agencies, police, secret forces, these robotic buds look like living, breathing birds. Birds from the surface of the earth. They recreate everything, the motion of the flapping wings and the way that they operate. They can fly at up to speeds of 40 kilometers per hour. They climb, they turn, they do everything in the air. Now, from the ground, looking at these flapping drone birds, can't tell the difference. Cannot, and don't even think that you can, because you cannot. The program, are you ready? Are you ready for this? It not only eliminates the need for conventional rotors that help keep a UAV up in the air, but also aids in the idea of evading human detection with your eyeballs or even radar detection, because radar thinks these are buds. One of the researchers who worked on the spy system noted that these drones mimic 90% of the motion of a real bird and are so quiet that even real birds fail to recognize them as different and fly alongside them. They don't have those rotors, the whirring motors. These things flap their wings. The program is called Dove. It's currently surveilling at least 5 Chinese provinces, with the majority of the focus being on the Xinjiang autonomous region, which shares borders with 5 countries: Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. While it is far from a countrywide adoption right now, the initial testing and use of the spy birds have shown that the technology works, particularly for military uses. Each robotic bird weighs around 200 grams and uses a flight control system with sophisticated cameras, GPS antennas, and a satellite data link to transmit the observational data in real time. Think about this. Yang Wingqing, an associate professor of China's Northwestern Polytechnical University and a member of the team behind Dove, says the scale is small. They got tiny birds. We believe that technology, I'm quoting here, has good potential for large-scale use in the future. It has some unique advantages to meet the demand for spying on our people. Wow. However, there's always a however, right? However, China says that the military won't be the only one that could leverage the capabilities of these bird drones. The team involved in the project believes that these drones could even aid the teams involved in emergency response, disaster relief, environmental protection, and urban planning. Yeah, right. So, here's the good news for the good people of China. To battle the drone threat, the United States military is working on some lethal counter-drone weapons. The Pentagon, in collaboration with Raytheon, has produced 2 unmanned aerial systems. One counter-unmanned aerial systems, by the way, CUAV. One that uses high-power microwaves, HPM, to disable the target, and the other one deploys a high-energy laser, otherwise known as HEL, H-E-L, to disintegrate it. The 2 systems were put to test in recent maneuver fire integrated experiment and were able to take out as many as 45 different drones right out of the sky, along with a few stationary mortal projectiles, by the way. In the 2 videos that I watched today, and they were amazing, the weapons can be seen taking out different styles of drones. However, they are not blowing the UAVs up in the air, but burning through their systems in their own unique way, something Raytheon describes as soft killing. It's a kindler, gentler drone killing. It's more humane. The HPM relayed a wide microwave beam that burnt through control systems of the drones and disabled them. The system knocked down 2 to 3 UAVs right out of the sky in a single blow. Now, meanwhile, the high-energy laser, or HEL weapon, was mounted on a rowdy dune buggy, and it took down 12 drones during the exercise, using a power laser to burn through the external plastic of the vehicle, leading to what? Well, of course, structural failure. Yeah. They caught on fire. It's pretty cool, actually. While the videos of the flaming bird drones, I can imagine that they will be flapping their mechanical wings in vain while crashing to the ground all around Beijing, will be coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Seriously. Tonight, Holly Marie is here. We're going to be talking about the science of the shamanic arts. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv is back. We're going to be talking technology. And Wednesday night, I am introducing Tracy Garbutt to you. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and I'll be right back with our guest on this beautiful Monday, Holly Marie. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. At JChurchRadio. Simple enough. Come and hang out with us. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. I'll be right back with our guest, Holly Marie. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at getthetea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheT.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. GetTheT.com. GetTheT.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Happy Monday to you. Hello, everybody out there in the Bucker Cam. All you Fadernauts. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Holly. You can follow Holly. Holly Marie. It's right there. Right there in the Twitter feed. She's hanging. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv is here. Wednesday night, Tracy Garbutt. Thursday nights, another Fader Nights. Open lines all night long. Great week we've got here on Fade to Black. Kicking it off tonight with Holly. Holly Marie of Earth Song Healings helps people get to the heart of what's weighing them down by using ancient, multi-dimensional clearing technologies to uplift people into true empowerment and emotional freedom. Many of her clients seek Holly for deep-rooted ancestral traumas that need to be cleared through the DNA, inner child work, soul retrievals, entity extractions, and to free themselves of mental slavery. Sounds like everything that I need. Holly is a huge advocate of alternative healing and believes that most prescribed medications are not needed, and she does what she says here, by the way. Maybe we'll get to some of that later on tonight. And that through reprogramming the belief system, we can gain back our health, mental well-being, and joy. She has worked with the Caro of Peru, Michael Harner's Shamanic Institute, Ancient Crystal Skulls, Rainbow Czar, the E.T. Skull, and the Dolphin Clan. She has been a CMT since 1998 and has studied crystal healing, Reiki, and Theta healing. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that is of great interest to me and all of you, the science of the shamanic arts. And her website is earthsonghealings.com. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Holly Marie. Holly, good evening.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I saw your pictures of the trophies.
Oh, yeah, it was a wild weekend.
Yeah, you guys are starting to rack that stuff up. Do you guys have a trophy room?
You know what? We have so many BMX trophies. It's ridiculous. We're going to need a room, seriously.
I know, right? Yeah, it's so cool to see you all suited up, and of course your son. Is Mark doing it too as well?
It was Mark and Phoenix who raced the Nationals this weekend.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you raced. Oh, you were there for support? You were the pit crew?
Yeah, I was the track mom.
You were the track mom.
No, you know what? I was racing, and then I went down really hard in Vegas and separated my shoulder, and I've been gun shy, but I have a commitment that I will race before Soul Tech. Well, I have made that commitment. You
should go down Mount Adams at Soul Tech for everybody. We'll videotape. No, okay, bad idea. Yeah, right. Oh, but you're a healer, alternative medicine. You should be good to go.
You're right. I should be, right?
You should be good to go. Well, welcome back to the show, Holly. And I wanted to add, you guys are all into, and I know that Mark is too, technology and stuff. Do you guys have a drone? Does Mark have a drone?
No, and I was just listening to you talk about the Chinese bird drones.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to get into a little bit about why and how we're allowing so much artificial intelligence to start coming up so fast.
I know. It seems like we can't pump the brakes on it. I've got a really cool drone that's got a camera on it, 1080p camera, and I was flying it around the house. Well, okay, this is the bottom line. We went on a vacation, and I had the drone, and we had this really big vacation home that the family rented, all of us. So we had this big home with this huge, like 3-story living room, dining room area, big, humongous. So I'm cruising the drone inside of the house using the camera, and I'm looking at everybody, and I got to tell you, that's evasive. Invasive, I mean, evasive. Yeah, it's evasive too. And nobody, and it's crazy. I didn't like looking at myself. You know what I mean? And so if I can do it so easily, so can everybody else. This thing is pretty quiet. And once you take it outside and start cruising it around, you can't really hear it. The bigger drones you can to a certain point, but anybody's got the ability to spy on your neighbors, across town. You can do whatever you want these days. The technology is right there.
I totally agree. And what's scary about that is then, if someone's out, if you piss somebody off and then they fly a drone and catch you in an unfavorable moment, they can just upload that on social media in a heartbeat.
That's right. That's right.
In a heartbeat. Like there's no hiding these days.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up with you is that you, who you are, who Mark is in Phoenix, you guys are a family with morals. Your feet are on the ground. You guys respect the community, and it's part of your process that you've been going through. Mark certainly is fully woke, right? He's awake. And this kind of, you would never do that. And that's part of who you are. How did you get to this point? Take me back. I mean, were you ever void of character and morals?
Oh, yeah. I was a terrible person.
I
was a horrible person growing up.
Well, continue. Because you're not now. You're wonderful, warm, and just unbelievably grounded. But
I have my moments.
Okay. Well, I haven't witnessed them yet, but I look forward to it. But let's go back. Let's go back. What do you mean you were a horrible person?
I think a lot of people have heard my story. I grew up really sick. I was bullied. I had depression. But putting all that aside, I grew up in a very Christian-based atmosphere, and it was the Baptists, so there was a lot of fear. And I think people all process fear a different way. And the way my upbringing in the church, and this was just my upbringing in my Baptist church, I do not want to speak for all of them. This is just my experience. It was so fear-based that I feel like I projected that fear out into the world, and I was also mean to people. I was mean to people because I had so much fear inside of me. And there were some times that I remember, and it still bugs me to this day, that I was really mean to some girls because I didn't know how to process how I was being bullied and how I was being treated on top of being sick all the time. and on top of having this weird dogma drilled into my head. So I would project it out onto somebody, maybe weaker than me, and I would be mean to them.
And that's a burden, right?
Absolutely. And I'm talking when I was very young, like in grade school, when I was very young.
Right.
But it still, and there's still times where, I can't get through to somebody, or I think somebody's not being fair to me, and that anger will still well up. But I tell you, like, the minute you do something that you could regret, I would never do anything like that now, but with this day and age in technology, you cannot. We are on technological lockdown, basically.
When I say burden, because even though you say it was in your childhood, that's also what charts our course through adulthood. And we can go back. I do it all the time. I think about certain things when I was very young, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And I am emotionally, I get ripped up when I think about those things, and so it stays with you. So is that sort of a reminder for you where not to go and how people feel when they are affected by you, and everybody can affect others around them. And think about those other girls, how they are affected today as adults.
Right. Now, and there wasn't that many people that I could be mean to because I was so beat down myself, but there are two girls that come to my mind, and yes, there were two incidences when I was just very mean to each of these girls. And even though, I've done forgiveness around it, it's more, I'm sure they're fine. Like, they probably don't even remember. And in most cases, people don't remember. It's you that carry that burden.
Right.
And, even though through the forgiveness work, it's like, it's like I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of it, but I didn't know any better. And it was like a coping mechanism.
Now, how do you go from a heavy religious Christian background to shamanism? And not only that, I know that I want to spend some time on this. I'm fascinated with it. But are you cutting cords too as well? Do you have to walk away, or is there a gentle transition? Explain how that works.
So for me personally, it took a really, really long time to flip the switch, right? I mean, I remember in college, I walked out of biology because I had such dogma ingrained into me from the church, and it was all fear-based. I walked out and dropped out of biology in junior college because they did not believe in creation.
At all. And so, and what about the other things? What about like Santa Claus and magic and fun as a child? Did you experience all of that?
My parents did the whole Santa Claus thing, right, and the whole Easter Bunny, and like by third grade, I figured it out. But no, we did that. And my mom was the one that would drug me to church every Sunday. I don't know why. She's totally not religious. My dad would never go with us. But that whole process, and, children are so impressionable that these deeply ingrained beliefs stick with you for a really long time. So I was still dealing with this through junior college. Then I became a massage therapist, but I wasn't spiritual, right? I only took people who wanted, they had an injury.
Yeah, sports medicine,
right? Had stress or injuries. There was no spiritual stuff going on. And then as time went on, it's like you get to a point where you're dying inside. You are literally dying. You can no longer go on the same path that you're going on with these beliefs that somehow, some way, you know, they're not right. At least they weren't right for me. You feel it in your heart. It's not resonating. And if you don't change your course, you get so physically ill. You get so sick. I was so sick. In fact, I'm so lucky that I didn't have half of my intestines surgically removed. I mean, it's like, I feel like I got out just in time.
What was that moment? What was the epiphany?
I'm a slow learner. It was a series of events, but I gotta say, so during my massage, this man came to me for a massage, and he became a client, and his wife worked at a hospital, and his wife was a nurse, and she would literally take cancer patients out of the hospital and get them on green smoothies, like the kale green smoothies. And him and his wife would literally, and I'm not going to say the hospital because I know the FDA is listening, they would literally cure these people of cancer. And so this guy, and he's amazing, he was very high up in the Navy, and he was very spiritual, and he really kind of helped me open my eyes. He used to work with the George Adamski Foundation.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I have books signed by George Adamski. I've handled his passport. I mean, this guy was no joke. And so my client that, worked with George Adamski, he's the one that really kind of held that space for me to open up. And then somehow I ended up my naturopath. I was going to a naturopath because I finally threw in the towel on Western medicine. And my naturopath was like, "Hey, I'm going to this healer in Brazil named John of God. And, maybe you could let your clients know if anyone's interested." And I'm like, "Oh, John of God." I'm like, "You're a whack job. I'm not gonna tell anybody about you." And I literally leave her office and I get to my car and I'm like, I'm going. So I went to Brazil, and John of God is the same person that Gail Thackeray, goes to and takes her tours to. And I went down to Brazil, and when I walked in to this healing center, it's called the Casa, where John of God was, I had the most insane breakdown of my life. Just everything that I was holding in, I just started sobbing so hard. I had to have 3 women hold me up. I couldn't even stand up. And I feel like obviously I was in low vibration because I was sick all the time, being flung into this high vibration and just having the space to release. It's like that was when I really started to change course. And so since then, I've been down to John of God 4 times. I found out I was pregnant down there with my son, Phoenix. I've seen stuff that is unexplainable. I've literally seen John of God take a kitchen knife and scrape a blind man's eyes, and the blind man could see again.
No.
Yeah. I was down there. I think it was my second time down there, maybe second or third time down there. And there was a group of American and Canadian doctors that wanted to come check it out. The same people that try to go debunk ESETI, and then they have crazy experiences. So they went, and yes, there was this man in a wheelchair, and John of God, João de Deus is how you say it.
Right.
In Brazil, he scraped this man's eye with a kitchen knife, and the guy could see. I mean, I was right there, and the doctors were super distracting because they're like, "Oh, this can't be done, blah, blah, blah," and this man could see, and it really shifted my reality.
I've seen pictures of him with that famous knife, right? And he's got the throne that he sits on. Yeah, it's a throne, right? I guess you would. Yeah, okay. Well, it's throne-ish. It's throne-ish. I've seen pictures of him and Gail over the years. And I know she makes many trips down there. Okay, so enough of John of God. I'm still on the skeptical side of John. But for you, this is part of your life's journey, right? Before this, you were not anywhere near something like this. And now you go to Brazil, you come back. What happens next?
Well, wait. There's more. I also had my first experience with a shaman, the very first trip to John of God with a shaman from the Amazon, from the Jaguar tribe. That was my first experience with a shaman.
Okay. Now, okay. Let's just go there. Let's go. What happened? Were there drugs involved?
No, not at all.
Not this trip.
No, not at all. In fact, I've still not done ayahuasca.
So no DMT, no ayahuasca.
Nope.
Okay.
He did something to my energy field, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I really don't believe this. You just look like some dude that walked out of the jungle. I'm not, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, but my eyes were closed, and I was standing, and I was in a shop, and the naturopath that I went down there with, she had seen him before. And so she's like, oh, do something to my friend. And whatever he did to my energy field, I just remember him like blowing behind me, but I could feel it. Not like you blow and you feel someone's breath like you're blowing out a candle. It wasn't like that. It was weird. I felt this blast of energy ripple through my whole entire body. It was amazing.
Well, and explain that. I mean, when you say ripple through your whole body, what do you mean?
I just, like, a wave of energy just came through me. Like,
did you see it too, as well?
No, my eyes were closed. No.
And well, I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah, your eyes are closed. What did you see while your eyes were closed? That's what I mean.
Black. Anything?
I'm just trying to. I'm wondering if there's anything near my experiences. That's all. I'm just trying to see if there's a similarity.
No, I did not see anything. And remember, this was my very first experience. But what was impactful for me was just feeling that wave come through my body, just feeling it. So that, on top of like my whole John of God experience, really set me on the course.
So you come back from Brazil. On the plane flight back, now you got time to reflect. What was going through your mind?
I was tripping. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, just literally, it's like your whole reality is shifted. So you just start thinking about the possibilities, and you really start to question your beliefs. Like, so I really started to question, how fear-based my upbringing was, and, why am I so sick? Just everything about myself, I began to question. And even though I didn't see the blind man gain his eyesight on my very first trip, because they all compile, it's like everything that I did see, I think I saw a tumor get cut out of someone's arm on the first trip down there. But I begin to question everything about me. Like, why am I like this? Why do I have this? And it really set me on my path to realize that you can clear everything that you hold on to. Like, everything is energetic. If you have pain, there's energy to be cleared.
Now, when you get back, what city were you living in?
Concord, California.
You're in Concord, of all places, right? Okay, so you go back to Concord, which is, for everybody listening, it's a suburb of San Francisco. So you get back. Did you land at SFO? Yeah, you had to, right?
I did.
Yeah, you landed SFO, and you're in the madness of the United States again, what a contrast. And you're looking at people and cars and life and all these disconnections all around you.
Absolutely.
Right. It's a fascinating observation because the contrast is immediate. It's only a 5-hour plane flight or whatever, right? So
no.
Right? So you get off the plane and you're looking around. Now what is going through your mind? Did you feel like you didn't belong?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you know the rundown from Gail, but when you're in a Bajiana where John of God is, there's no TV. There are no cell phones. The only way to call out, well, this was several years ago, is you use a payphone. There is no TV. There's no radio. You are completely cut off from the rest of the world. And I'll tell you, you have never felt so connected before. You've never felt so whole and just complete. So I get off the plane in San Francisco and I'm just like, can I please get back on and go back? You know, the disruption it's chaotic. It's chaotic.
I remember in a weird way, I've had this observation many times in my life. Okay, I've done it. I've gone from country to country and noticed things. But last year, when we spent 4 days up at ECETI and intentionally disconnected, right? Disconnected. And we came back after 4 days, and I'm with my family, Rita and I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to drive on this freeway. I don't want to be in Los Angeles. I want to go back to ECETI. There's something that happens when you're connected to the earth. There's something there, and then you have that very, very direct contrast observation that happens to you. I went through some dramatic things while I was at ECETI. And, I came back to Los Angeles, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to give this a go. I'm not digging Los Angeles right now. And so for you to go from Brazil and John of God to Concord, that's got to be as dramatic as it gets. Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been to Machu Picchu, and it's the same thing coming back from Peru. Mm-hmm. And, yes, you just come back and you don't know what to do, but you don't want to do what you have to do. Everything seems so unnecessary. Everything.
Watching a line of people at Starbucks after that, just like, what? Everybody running around, especially in Concord, where it's nothing but technology and money. That's it. It's technology and money running around. We got to take a break right here, Holly. So let's get this out of the way, and we'll continue this conversation when we come back. Tonight, we are talking about the science of the shamanic arts. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We're going to do all of this and much more tonight with Holly. It's going to be a great conversation. Stay right there. Be right back. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow Holly at Holly. What's your Twitter?
Holly Pachamagic.
There you go. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out! That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Holly Marie is here. We're talking about the science of the shamanic arts. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv is here to talk technology. Wednesday night, I'm going to introduce you to Tracy Garbutt. It's going to be an amazing week here. And, of course, Thursday night is open lines, Fader night all night long. Now, Holly, let's continue this path on your shamanic journey because once you arrive back into Concord, San Francisco, how do you research this, and what happens next?
Well, a few years passed, and I got to a point where I really wanted to start doing more for my clients. I had a really big massage therapy business or practice back in Concord, and I mean this was in 98, right? It was years ago. And I wanted to expand more, but I was still having that weird, dogma ingrained in me. So someone mentioned that I should go to a shaman, right? So I found a lady and I started going to her for a couple of sessions to open myself up more and clear my trauma and everything that I was holding on to. And I eventually started taking her. She taught the shamanic medicine wheel in the Caro tradition of Peru. And I took her class. I became her assistant to help other people come through the wheel. And that is how my journey continued, and is what really got me to the point of where I am now, though, is just constantly being able to look at what's going on and clear that piece within inside me.
Well, let's stop right there. Let's talk about the Caro, who they are, and of course we need to talk about the medicine wheel too as well. So who are the Caro?
So the Caro are direct descendants of the Inca, who are direct descendants of Mu. the mother continent, or Lemuria. And they are not shaman, they are mystics. Shamanic cultures use psychotropic drugs. The Karo do not. They're mystics. But it's so hard to explain. They just get lumped in as shamans. And they are actually transmitting rites called a Musak Karpai, which is a direct energy transmission from the grand central sun, the center of our Milky Way, Alcyon. So the Karo were one of the only cultures that were never conquered, and they hid in the high Andes for 500 years before the Leica, or the spirit ones, told them that they needed to come down and start teaching the ones with round eyes, which that's us. Right. That's the white people. So they came out of hiding, and they began giving these Musak Karpais, which are the direct transmissions, and they began traveling around, spreading their knowledge, their secrets, and their information. And it is such an honor to sit with the Karo. I just came back from a reunion with the Karo, the Mayan, the Hopi, and a Tibetan monk. And this was invite only. It was not something that you could pay for online or even find online. It's like you either got the phone call or the email. And just to sit in such sacred ceremony and receive these transmissions and receive the wisdom from the Hopi and the Mayan and the Tibetan and the Karo is truly being connected. There's no computer screens, there's no whiteboards, it's just oral translation. Fire ceremony, despacho, which is a prayer ceremony, and these transmissions giving, and it is so sacred. So the Karo are like third in line, right from Lemuria.
Wow. And these transmissions, I want to hear more about this. What are they of?
So it's a direct. Okay, so I've gotten a couple different ones, but the Musak Karpai that I just received was, and everything's conveyed, nothing is solid. So the transmission I received was like unconditional love, but utilizing the will of it. And so right under your belly button, it's not a chakra. It's a different opening in the energy field. It's called a couscous, and it's energetic opening right under your navel. And it has every tiny little energetic thread connected to any experience you've ever had in your life from birth to the present. So these couscous is where the Musak Karpai transmission is coming in, and it's creating another link between you and the grand central sun, but then it's also coming down through your crown to transmit whatever Karpai it is. So mine was, like unconditional love with will.
How long? Take me through this a little bit, Holly. Are you sitting? Are you laying down? You're sitting.
So I'm sitting, and the correct name for a Karo healer is a Pakos, P-O-Q-O-S. It's a Pakos. So I'm sitting in front of the Pakos, right? The shaman for.
Right, the Pakos. I'm with you.
And he has his mesa, his medicine bundle, and and your eyes are closed. You're not allowed to look, but he is doing his prayer or his transmission, however he does it. But my eyes are closed, and he'll place his hand right under your navel and on your heart and on your crown. And then he'll take his mesa, his medicine bundle, and he'll kind of hit you with it. I mean, he'll kind of allow the transmission to come in through his medicine bundle, like on your right shoulder, your head, and your left shoulder. So you're really getting the energy from his mesa coming into your luminous energy field as well. And then he's pulling in the transmission from the Grand Central Sun right to your couscous. And then you have to feed the seeds, which is what he transmitted, for 3 moon cycles. So you're feeding the seeds with not the flame of the fire, but the carbon energy, the carbon imprint of the flame. So you're scooping it with your hand, then you're placing that over your heart, that's where you feed the seed.
And the transmissions, are they coming from, where are they coming from? Another world, another dimension, another, is it a god? Where are the transmissions coming from?
Inti Tai Tai, the Grand Central Sun, just from Alcyon, the Grand Central Sun of the Milky Way, and they're just pulling that energy down and transmitting it.
And this is fascinating to me. I want to go right back to where we are right now, but let me ask you this. You've watched others receive transmissions, right, with the Pacos?
Kinda. You're not allowed to, but I peek.
See, I ask the right questions, don't I? Okay, so you kind of know what's going on around you. Okay, so now let's go back. Now your eyes are closed. You're getting thumped with the medicine bag, right?
Yes.
Pacos is doing his thing, touching your belly below your navel. What is happening to you at that point physically? And when the transmission comes in, do you feel it through your stomach, or is it body, or is it mind? Is it your brain?
I feel it coming down through my crown chakra and into my heart, and it's just like this wave of unconditional love. I'm sure everybody has a different experience. I'm sure some people are seeing colors. My experience is it's like a whoosh of unconditional love. Like you literally feel this energy from the Grand Central Sun coming in all the way down through your body, all the way down, to your feet. And your feet are on a mastana, which is a birthing cloth or a ceremonial cloth that's hand woven by the Caro. So now that is anchoring your energy into the earth with whatever symbology is on that mastana. So there is a lot going on, but I feel like a big wave of energy come through me, and it's a trip. I mean, when you're done, for me, it's almost like you want to drunk dial people and tell them how much you love them.
Right. Right. I can only imagine. How long is this a part of the ceremony?
The actual transmission itself is maybe only 3 minutes, but when you go to an event like this, I mean, they're fairly small, but there might be 100 people. So it's like a long time to shuffle through the line, but the actual transmission is maybe like 3 minutes.
How long does it, okay, so it's actually 3 minutes, but how long does it feel?
Oh, man.
I know it's hard to judge time.
It's timeless.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's timeless.
It's timeless. It's like you're in pure connection.
How do you? Well, I'm glad you said. I was going to say, what was it like when you disconnected?
The connection stays with you for a long time. I mean, it's a trip. Like the connection stays with you for a very long time. But that's when I was still in Shasta. And then, man, once you get back up to your home, it's just, it's hard to hold that vibration.
So now, yeah, right, exactly. When you open your eyes, do you know where you are?
I do, yes.
Okay.
I do. I mean, I feel a wave of unconditional love and heart opening, but I'm still present. I'm still in this dimension.
Is it possible after that, let's say a couple of days later, now you're in a restaurant and you order some food and the food comes to the table and it's not what you ordered? You can't get angry, can you?
No, absolutely not.
Right. What about, and I'm not making light of this. I want the audience to understand exactly your state of mind and state of being. Traffic, right? Or anything like that. You don't get angry.
Yes, it's like,
I mean, road rage or arguments. You're now in you're a complete different state of being.
It's almost as if things slow down. It's as if things just slow down, right? So everyone's on this verge of speeding up, and now we're going to go to 5G, and everyone is trying to get this massive input, and it's like you get totally removed out of that, and you're just able to slow down. And actually, when you're in such a state of constant input, your mind shuts down and you're actually more vulnerable to suggestive programming. So you want to be slower, so you're more conscious of what's going on around you. Once you overload your brain, you're way more, I mean, it's just hypnotherapy. It's hypnotherapy knowledge. Your mind shuts down and you are more suggestive to subliminal programming.
Right, which happens all around us.
Yes, absolutely. So, coming out of this whole experience, this whole gathering, it was the gathering of the Grand Central Sun. Coming out of that, I mean, I've really tried to stay in that vibration, but it takes conscious effort. You have to know when to turn off the TV, you need to know when to do things. You need to know when to step back, and it keeps you grounded. And it also keeps you more aware. Because I can tell you there's so much information right now that if I was to sit in and just like gather up all this information all day, it would begin to break down, I feel like, my own intuition, where instead of just taking some information in and allowing it to contemplate and allowing my higher self to digest it and process it, I feel like you have a more grounded sense moving forward.
Now, and when you gather this from the Caro, who are, like you said, they're mystics. There's, the ayahuasca side of it, the psychoacoustic drugs like you were just referring to. That's not what the Caro are about, but the shamans are. Do they work together?
I'm not, to be honest, I don't really know how that works. I know that in Peru, and I've been to Peru, Machu Picchu, but it was before I really started to study with the Caro. I know that the shamans go to the Caro or the Pacos for initiation. Right. So the Pacos is above the shaman.
Got it. So they're the teachers? Are they teaching the shamans?
Yeah, they're conveying information. They're not teachers, because now you're an ego and you're labeling, but they convey information.
Okay. Well, I guess would the shamans look at the Caro as the information, the teachers?
Yes.
They would.
Yes.
And so there is a pecking order here.
There's a pecking order for sure. So now, okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, because if I was to come on the air and be like, okay, I'm going to give you a musak karpai, run. That's so fraudulent. Only a Pacos can give a karpai. If any Westerner is claiming to give a karpai, No, they can only be transmitted by the bloodline of the Caro. Now, I just started teaching the shamanic medicine wheel, and I give the Moonai key rights, which is Moonai is unconditional love. I can give these rights per direction of the wheel. It's okay to get a Moonai key right from a Westerner, but you cannot get a Karpai.
Now let's talk about the wheel. What is it?
Okay, so many North American traditions of the wheel, you're going through the 4 directions. So many North American traditions start in the east or the north. Since I studied under the Peruvian tradition, we start in the south. And is what we do is we go through each direction. So we'll go south, west, north, east. And you create a relationship with the archetype. So the south is all about the serpent energy and the fire, and it's about shedding the old stories and becoming accountable. It's about healing the inner child. As you progress through the wheel, like
now,
the west.
Wait, hold on. Is the wheel on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or is it ginormous out in a field?
Oh, no, it is. Okay, so it's different from a medicine wheel on land.
Right.
So I'm sorry. So this is like the training.
I want the audience to understand what you're referring to here. I don't want them to be confused.
Okay, so it's not a literal wheel or a literal labyrinth or medicine wheel on the ground. When you take the journey through the medicine wheel, when somebody is conveying the teachings, you are doing their classes.
Right.
Classes. And
right.
You start in the south, you end in the east.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to your wheel.
So the thing really about the wheel is what it really is getting to know yourself on the deepest level possible. And the practicums that we go through are so, they're so profound. The next direction that I'm doing, I just completed the south, and there's a fader knot in my class, and I'm so excited because she's amazing and she brings so much to the class. So then we're going to progress into the West. And the West is about the shadow and projection work. It's about removing entities and crystallized energy. And we get into like the really cool, fun practicums. And then as we head in, and that archetype is Jaguar, and it has to do a lot with the second chakra. Then we move into the third, which is the North. And that direction is the hummingbird. And it's the solar plexus, our power center. And it's about stepping into infinite possibilities and stepping into the unknown without fear. And this is where we really get into the past lives and how our past lives are playing out in our present. And it also has to do with how we carry so much trauma from our ancestors, and it still plays out in our life. Like heart disease. Every time someone comes to me with an ailment, it's like we trace it back. Well, who in your family had, we'll say, heart disease? And then what happened? Oh, they were abandoned, or they were divorced, or whatever. It's that energetic experience that creates the physical ailment. And that's what so many people don't understand. If you have pain, there's energy to be cleared. And so many times it goes into the ancestral lines. And then moving out of the North, we go into the East, which is the heart. And in the Caro, it's eagle condor. It's flying wing to wing with spirit, and it's bridging the gap of duality. So it's when North America and South America come together as one unified field. That's why you have the eagle and the condor.
Flight.
Yes.
Flight.
Yeah. So it's really deep. And, I have to tell you, I was super afraid to teach this. I've gone through the medicine wheel once as a student, 3 times as an assistant, and then I started to co-teach, and that dissolved. And I really wanted to share this work with other people because it's so profound. And I literally got permission from a Hopi elder that said, go teach, because I feel like this is such a culturally sensitive thing that I feel like a lot of Westerners are just running out there claiming to be these self-proclaimed shamans and all this crazy stuff. And it's like, no, you're completely trashing the work. The work is to be held sacred. And so I really had a lot of fear in presenting this work, but so far so good. It's going really well.
Yeah, I've looked at so many different medicine wheels. They all have a basic part of it. There's different versions, but pretty much. And it's interesting how the Caros start because of Peru, apparently the South, which is generally that's Earth, that's Gaia, that's Mother Earth, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
And then so you start there, and as you heal, and you go to the West, now we're dealing with emotions. We're dealing with the moon, right? And
yes.
that's to the. See, I'm pretty good.
You're great.
But I just find it fascinating. And then the North, which you just described, which is, spirit, and you heal there, and then head to the East, which is flight. And then when you come out of the East and head back south, what is that transition?
Well, that can be a rocky one.
Right.
When I got out of the East as a student, we lost our house.
I remember. Do I remember this story?
I don't know. I don't know if I've told it.
Okay.
But we Mark and I took the wheel together, and we got out of the East, and we lost our house. It was completely insane. Like, we got foreclosed on. It was just like our teacher kicked us out of the community. It was insane. But looking back, I wouldn't be here if that didn't happen.
What? How did? You know what? I got to take a break right here. I'm gonna. I was gonna ask how it changed you and Mark's relationship, and so you think about that one, Holly, and you can answer. You can answer that when we come back. Our guest tonight, Holly Marie. Yeah, we are talking about the science of the shamanic arts, discussing the medicine wheel of transformation. We'll be right back. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hi folks, what can I say without making claims? CBD is truly the buzzword for health. What does it do? Government institutions will not allow me to say what this wonderful oil does for us. But I can say it's non-GMO and organic. I can say it's 0.003 THC, which in plain English means you won't get high. There are those that want to squash your freedom to buy natural products. Fight back with your purchase power. In the end, it is you that takes care of your health. Go to ancientlifeoil.com. One more time, ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Holly Marie, and we're discussing the science of the shamanic arts. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Twitter is getting a little out of control tonight. This is just an amazing conversation. And Holly, I wanted to let you know, check this out. Rita and I were just invited down to the Mayan Heart Festival over the winter solstice, December 20th through the 23rd in Tikal. Oh. Yeah, Guatemala, at the pyramid, at the Mayan pyramid. And can you imagine what that's going to be like?
You guys are going, right?
Yeah, well, Rita already told the family we were, so I guess we are. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's another part of this that I want to get into, which is the entire experience of going through these rituals and the medicine wheel and how it changes your personal life. And for you, you went through this with Mark. You know, how did that affect your relationship and your family?
Well, first, let me say, if anybody out there ever does the medicine wheel with their partner, don't look at their notes.
Yeah.
Do not look at their notes. You know, it was really funny. The medicine wheel deals a lot with ego. And I've always suffered, and I'm getting to the part about Mark and I've always suffered with a lot of chronic pain. I have a lot of injuries, and I just have a lot of pain. And I remember when the South came, and everybody around me is having these aha moments, and they're crying, and they're really getting into it. And I'm sitting there going, you know, I don't even have any physical pain. I don't need this. Like, I don't have any pain. I'm fine. Well, as I got through the West just fine. When I got to the North, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was hit by a freight train. It was my ego that was protecting me in the South. My ego took away all my pain and protected me from looking at what I needed to look at. By the time I got to the north, it was a living nightmare. I couldn't even get through anything without totally bawling, and this was all about the past lives. But here's what happened, is I began to clear all of those karmatic ties from the past. And as I begin to understand the lessons of my past, Mark and I really began to get more on the same page. We began to become more in sync with each other, because we were a little bit rocky before that. We'd argue pretty easily, but as we begin to clear those karmatic pieces, especially for me in the north, that was the biggest direction for me. Everything began to smooth out. And as I said, we lost our house when I completed the wheel. I'm not sure if our marriage would have held up if I hadn't cleared everything that I did in the direction of the north. Like, these are very, very deep practicums and deep getting to know yourself. Like, I just listened to the interview with Billy Carson and how he was saying everything you write is a spell.
Right.
And you're putting that out into the ethers. That is exactly what we learn in the shamanic. It's very close to the hermetics. And
I wanted to get into that. I'm going to cut you off for a second because there's something else very important here. And I want to get into the mystic schools and some of the occultism aspects of this too as well, and hermeticism, because everything is tied together. And certainly the ancients and those mystics knew something that we have completely disconnected with as a society today, as an earth today, and we're starting to get back to it. That being said, writing, I'm glad you brought that up. Words, both spoken and written, affect our bodies, right? And the effect on our bodies are 90% water, and you start to affect the chemical reactions in your own body through your thoughts and your words and the things that you write down. Those are spells. They're there forever, and they affect you and they affect the ones around you. And you start to change that into a positive way, it changes your basic body chemistry, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't get sick anymore. I don't have chronic pain anymore. Like, I don't have it. There's days, because I do have injuries. There are days that are more difficult, or, once in a while, I'll just have a day where I'm just really in pain, but it is decreased literally by 95%.
And there are those out there, because you talked about, you were bad, you were black, right? Your body, and you go through these changes, and you start to see those changes. There are people out there right now that are so negative, that are so into hurting others, or just being, gossiping and causing issues and trouble. They're burnt, right, inside. They're like a lump of coal, and their whole body chemistry is just negative. And you need to go through those transitions. They're chronically sick. They're chronically ill because they're toasted on the inside, aren't they?
Well, yes, absolutely. But I also, there's those people, but then there's the group of people that really raise a red flag for me. And those are the people who are on the spiritual path, but, and I want to word this correctly because I have really strong feelings for it that aren't that popular, but there's this whole aspect to spirituality that undermines doing the real work. It's like you can't just get a past life reading without clearing the chakra that it's affecting. Or you can't just, call on an angel and surround yourself with gold light and expect things to shift. Like you have, in my experience and through the shamanic, you have got to look at the root cause of the problem. Like, are you getting dumped, every time you try to date because your great-great-grandmother was a prostitute, which are real issues I've had to deal with in my practice. This is real. So you're carrying this fractal of abandonment or unworthiness or whatever it is in your DNA all the way up, but you're going through the emotions, going through the motions, not understanding why you can't get the job, why you're constantly in an abusive relationship or whatever it is, when you need to clear what your grandmother held or what your grandfather held, or however far down the line it goes. And a lot of times this is about, people come in for sessions with one issue and it has nothing to do with that. Once you start digging beneath the surface, it's crazy where these problems are actually rooted in.
Can one clear themselves? Could you clear yourself?
Nope.
Right. Okay. So there's that answer. It can't be done with a book.
Well, I'm writing a workbook that takes you through several journeys, and I believe that you can do a fair amount of work on yourself. I also believe that reading does activate certain triggers in you to help you have a healthy response to doing your own work. I do believe that you can do a fair amount of work on yourself, but even for me, no, I still go to healers. Like when I run into a block that I can't figure out, I know that my ego won't let me see it. It's protecting me from actually looking at it. So no, I'll go to a healer.
Yeah, Mark's in trouble. You understand him.
No, I don't actually.
Okay, so now, and I find that very interesting because I agree with you. There are some out there that are on the path, right? They feel that they're on the path. They've done, but there isn't anything instant, and it isn't any one thing. And they still wonder why things are going wrong. I'm totally with you on that. Now let's go back to the Hermeticism side of this and some of the mystic schools and some of the occultism from the past. Do you think, because you brought up Mu, and I find that with the Caro, that's a really fascinating, which I didn't know, by the way. I learned something tonight. And when we go back to ancient Egypt, and then of course Thoth and Hermeticism and the things that came out of Alexandria, we back up off of that, and everything transitions back to Mu and Lemuria and Thoth. Is that where everything originated from, and then eventually went to the Caro?
I don't know, but I do have a theory. So my research on Lemuria, or the continent of Mu, they had 400,000 years to develop their culture, and then the continents begin to shift out. So they had time to migrate. From what I've studied, they had time to migrate out. And I believe that that's why so many cultures all have this thread woven, this common thread woven in between it. I believe they all come from the teachings of Mu. I believe that's where the shamanic really stemmed out from. And even if you sit with the Hopi, and you can't find this online, you have to sit with the Hopi, they will tell you that they actually are from Tibet and that they migrated over the Bering Straits. So there has been so much migration, and I I believe that's where it came from. I've also had a table tipping session from James Gilliland, which I highly recommend, is amazing. And then a reading from Michaela Sheldon, and they both cross-reference that I had a lot of Lemurian energy in me, and that's why I'm so closely tied to the shamanic, because it's just so earthy. It's the oldest thing out there.
And when you look at the traditional medicine wheel and you look at that, that is in every culture on this planet going back millennia.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
The symbolism of it and what it is and what it represents, you see it everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Asia, the Middle East, or Egypt, or look at certainly Europe and Northern Europe, all the way over to the UK, here to the United States, all of the indigenous cultures here down into Central and South America. It's the exact same thing. The knowledge has been spread forever.
Absolutely. And it's so fascinating. I went on this dolphin tour with the Hopi and the Mayan, and there was this Mayan grandmother, right? And we had the crystal skulls and everything. And there was this Mayan grandmother, and once, she's just sitting there with her bag of cocoa leaves, and I mean, honestly, she looked homeless, right? I mean, she was she just looked like someone off the street. And when the translator started translating what she was saying, it was no different than listening to Nassim Haramein. Like, the knowledge that they hold is just mind-blowing.
I've seen when I lived in Panama, I've seen exactly what you're talking about. And as a Westerner, as a round eye, right? You need to be very careful about your judgment. You need to be very, very careful, because there is some knowledge that is sitting in front of you. I did the same thing that you did. I had those same thoughts, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I remember. I'm not joking about this. This was an actual experience. So I'm down in this one part of Panama City, actually in downtown Balboa, and there's all these, short Indian women running around, older, and I cracked some stupid joke, right? Right? Now, I was 15, but still something that I regret, but you can't take it back. And somebody turned to me and goes, "Dude, have some respect. Those are Mayans." Right? Yeah. And I said, "What? Do you understand?" Right? And I just backed up, and and then it just all came to me. And I just backed up, and my interactions, my conversation, the respect after that was totally different. But you need to be careful. You don't know. Right? And you cannot be judgmental. You just cannot.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And, and I feel like people do it out of a place of innocence in the Western culture. Like, we do it out of a place of innocence. And I firmly believe that. But you are so right, man. It's like, you do not know. And once these elders start speaking, it's like, man, you feel so minuscule. Like, the knowledge that they hold is it's so deep. It's so deeply rooted. And so when I was at this ceremony, or at this gathering, there was, this Mayan elder there, and the way that she prayed and conducted fire ceremony, the way she spoke from her heart was, the wisdom that came forth, not just with her words, but with the energy that she gave with her prayer ceremony that left nothing unturned, was just, you can't find this anywhere in the States. You can't find this anywhere except in these deep indigenous cultures. It's such a blessing.
And
such a gift.
And they are completely liberated, right? And you come in as a round eye, the opposite. What's it like when that happens, when you become liberated from all of this negative programming?
Well, I feel that, there's a lot of talk about being sovereign, and it's like, man, what does that mean? If you have a driver's license, you're not sovereign, right? You're still part of the system. There's a lot of this talk about spiritual sovereignty, but I think when you get liberated from the negative programming is really when you become whole again, when you can stand in your power without reflecting judgment or animosity, but you can stick to your truth and not be triggered by the things around you. Right? And so that's why I'm really, really into the soul retrieval aspect of things, because I feel like that's the true liberation. When we call these soul pieces back that have fled to safety during trauma, it's leaving your energy field in a fragmented, like Swiss cheese. Your energy field's like Swiss cheese. So you're constantly trying to fill it up. Like, I'm going to shop or gamble or drink or do drugs or get prostitutes or whatever it is. You're constantly trying to fill these holes, but there's nothing that can substitute a piece of the soul. And when you go into a shamanic journey and you're able to go through the 4 chambers of your death and the wounds and the chamber of grace and retrieve these pieces back and rewrite the soul contract, it gives you that power within. You're no longer looking for this external validation or this external false sense of connection through technology. It's like you're whole. You don't need anything else. There's no holes to fill up.
Now, wait a minute here. Are you saying that I can't be cleared and then a couple days later go hang out in Vegas?
You can.
I mean, I just want to understand what's going on.
It depends what you're doing in Vegas.
I mean, you hit all the nails on the head. Ba, 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 ba. Well, except for the prostitutes part, but is
no, because you do it in moderation.
Right. Okay. Could I go through a clearing while in Vegas?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
No, absolutely. But so I'm talking about the people that it's not an occasional party or an occasional gambling spree. I'm talking about hardcore addiction.
That's right. So Vegas every 6 months is okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm making light of this.
Oh, no, I know.
And the reason why, because I want everybody to understand, because when you give the list right there, you probably hit an emotional chord with 99% of this audience, right? They're like, man, I enjoy those things. Wait a minute. Do I have issues? And my point is, not necessarily.
No. Absolutely, not necessarily. If it's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
If it's out of control. But every time an emotional chord is hit, there's something within that needs to be looked at. Whether, say that just triggered somebody in a negative way, they might not have an out of control experience, but they may be holding something inside that needs to be looked at or forgiven or shifted.
It's a very interesting aspect of this. And then could you take this? Is there a difference? Okay. Could you do a whole room? And the reason, because I've seen you go through a couple of ceremonies, right? And I've seen you do this with a room full of people. Is it different on the individual level than when you have a group?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Well, I do the women's empowerment retreats with Lori McDonald, and I've done soul retrievals on groups of people, and it's been fascinating. It's definitely, people have had major shifts. When I'm working with an individual, it's just, we're doing the same thing, but I'm getting more of their story. Like, we might be able to dig deeper and connect the dots differently, or, whatever it might need to be, more on a deeper level. But in a group setting, people are still going to have an experience. I mean, because I'm going to do some group workshops at Soul Tech, and people are still going to have an experience. They're still going to have that aspect of their consciousness opened up, and they're still going to have energy shift.
Now, I want to talk about Soul Tech, and I also want to talk about drugs when we come back. Well, because, everybody makes this connection, and I understand that. Not Soul Tech and drugs. I'm talking about shamans and drugs, and the big talk today is about ayahuasca and DMT and what that does. Do individuals necessarily need ayahuasca or that experience and that ceremony to look at themselves and see what they need to correct? Because obviously it's a very personal experience, and it can also be a very, very serious change.
Do you want me to answer that now, or
yeah, we've got 2 minutes, and then we'll finish when we come back.
Okay, so I just had this naturopath, who's also a shamanic practitioner, contact me from New York. And somewhere she saw that I was saying, you don't need ayahuasca. You can have the same experience without drugs. You're tapping inside your consciousness, inside yourself. This woman has tested people who've done ayahuasca, and it's actually hard on their organs. Also, the Mayan, when I was in last ceremony, the Mayan was very adamant that ayahuasca is sacred and it is being prostituted out. That was her words. It is being prostituted and exploited out.
Well, I can only imagine, the Westerners up here in the United States that want to go and have a trip, right? So they all, them and their buddies, they jump on a plane and they're heading down to Ecuador. I'm not kidding, right? There's probably an ayahuasca tour agency selling tickets.
There is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know that, but
you can do ayahuasca in Portland, and it is a trip. It's a sacred drug, and it's called the death rope for a reason. It purges out all of your fears. Like, it is a sacred ceremony, but it's been diluted. It's been diluted, and it has been. It's like trendy now.
Yeah, it's like LSD or whatever,
absolutely.
Right? Or ecstasy. And then there's the other side of it, which is DMT, which is it's not an 8-hour or 12-hour ceremony. It's a 10-minute ceremony, and if you know what I mean. And so there are those out there that are doing it recreationally, not understanding that you're being transported to another world, another dimension, a very sacred area, but they're doing it for entertainment. We need to take a break right here. Let's finish this when we come back. I knew I was going to do that too. Sorry about that, Holly.
No, it's good.
It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We're going to continue this conversation. It's amazing. The science of the shamanic arts. It's Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat. Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Great show tonight. Great conversation with Holly Marie. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I was just over at On Stellar during the break, hitting everybody back with your comments about the show tonight. And thank you for all of that, man. I just love On Stellar. And now, Holly, going back, to finish up our thoughts there, I totally see ayahuasca and DMT as sport now, and we need to be very, very, very careful. I'm a little bit scared of it, right? And I'm talking about I don't know if I want to take that kind of look at myself, but I respect it. And there are those out there that just want to just treat this as any other recreational thing and just to go and have fun. Need to be very careful.
Right. And, I don't want to discourage anyone from trying it either. Like, I don't want to put a negative spin on it, but it's gotten a little recreational, I'd say. And, I think we've all of us as society have just let go of what's sacred. Well, it's like, look at social media. Everybody is posting not everybody, but, their every move of the day. It's almost like you've got this obligation now, like this unwritten obligation to post your life all over Facebook. But every time you do that, you're giving it away.
You're giving it away. And kids these days, and I wanted to talk about diet just a little bit. We all know I completely abuse my body when it comes to diet. But when you laugh because you've been there with us, Holly, many, many times. I do enjoy, and so does Rita. We are big foodies, and we love to cook, and we love to celebrate, and we love celebration with our friends and family. That's one side. The other side is, cell phones, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, children, diet, Mountain Dew, junk food. All of this is just opening up ourselves to getting attached by some very bad things.
I totally agree. Can I add a tidbit on the ayahuasca part really quick, though?
Sure.
Okay, because it's important. A lot of people think that ayahuasca is the end all. I just want to say really quick, I had a woman, and she was probably like in her late 50s, and she's a professional woman, very professional, high-end job, and she does ayahuasca ceremonies a lot. And she got to this point in her ayahuasca trips where she couldn't get any further. So she came to me for a session, which really freaked me out because I'd never done ayahuasca, but it didn't matter. We worked through the trauma that the ayahuasca couldn't touch. We worked through that trauma, and then her ceremonies from that point on went to that deeper level. So you asked me earlier, Jimmy, do you need the drugs to see yourself? Absolutely not. In some cases, you need a practitioner to get you through that trauma so the drugs actually take you on that journey that you're desiring.
I know through my I don't want to go too far here, but through some of my past experiences, certainly in my late teens and early 20s. Now, granted, it was the 70s, it was the early 80s, it was a different place, but there were certain, I had different soul journeys that I went on. Let's just put it that way. And I went through those experiences, and I know how heavy and traumatic they can be. And I didn't do much of it for sport. I did a lot of it when I was completely alone, right? And I wanted to explore myself because I had read all of the books. I read all of Carlos Castaneda and Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance and what have you, right? I did all of that as a kid. And so today, knowing what ayahuasca, that ceremony, or DMT can suggest for the look at the self, it can be very powerful. And so at this point in my life, I don't know if I want to go there, right? Because I respect it. And I don't know if that's, I think I'm okay with myself. Am I making sense when I say it like that?
Yeah, absolutely, Jimmy. And actually, I've listened to you talk a lot, and I've from coming from a practitioner point, I think you are okay.
Okay. All right.
I think you are okay. Like one of the things that you've said before, I don't know where we're somewhere in a group, and I think it was at your house, and you were talking about, someone brought up, what do you do with the negative people that come at you? And you were clearly like, I don't read their emails. I don't listen to them. I don't pay it attention. That is exactly where we need to be to create our reality. Now, that doesn't mean you be complacent, like you know it's there, but you're not feeding into it.
Right.
So I think you're good.
Well, and I found that, and the reason why I speak about that a lot is because I saw the profound changes in my physical self as soon as I started to cut loose, because I used to get sucked into it, and my whole life I would get sucked into negativity. And I felt these physical changes that happen, going back to the state of water, right? Okay, yes. It's the same thing. And as soon as I stopped doing that and feeding into it, it was amazing how great I felt. And then I would come back, and you just feel good. You're disconnected, and everything is great, and you're just happy. And then you go and watch some crazy negative video of some negative content, and it could be anything, whether it's, I don't even want to discuss it, but it could be anything from some terrorism thing to some other physical thing or whatever. You see that, and then boom, you feel your body change. It's like your stomach goes in knots, and you feel, and you're like, well, that's exactly it. And when you read something negative, you read a negative post on Facebook, or somebody says something about, and then you feel that negative. So I figured that out on my own, Holly. And so I don't do it anymore. I just don't do it. I'll hang up on somebody. I will hang up the phone call. I just don't want to deal with it. I'll read the first couple lines of an email, and I know where it's going. It's delete. You're blocked as spam, and your stuff never comes to me again. I just don't need it. And the next email could be a positive one, but you blew it with the previous one, and that's it. I have my own little way of dealing with it today, and I don't read it. I don't. Anything negative on Twitter or Facebook, and I see that side of somebody, whatever it is, blocked, immediately, done. I never have to deal with it, and I feel great. I do. I feel just, yes, and it comes to that water thing. It's how your body reacts to it. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like negativity. Somebody said to me, check this out. I want your comment on this. I can see we're going to go to overtime tonight, and I know you traveled all day, but we're going to keep this going.
I feel great.
Somebody said to me, I got an email over the weekend. I was talking about negativity last week, and I get this email from somebody. Negativity makes you stronger. You need to read all of it. You become a better person. How do you improve unless you don't read all the negative stuff about you? I'm like, well, there you go. You just went to the junk mail folder, right there. And I cannot believe somebody tried to dispense that advice. It's just like, what? No, the exact opposite.
Absolutely. I mean, I do, I do think it's okay for somebody to have a negative projection every once in a while, in their life, if they get really triggered and they might do a negative post or something. Like, it's okay, but it's not okay to be consistent with that, and it's not okay to attack other people.
No.
Like how you were talking the whole thing with like Vice TV and everything, how they were disrespecting the community.
Right.
And it's okay to be a skeptic, like, oh, okay, I went to Contact in the Desert and I'm still skeptical. I'm not sure. Like, it's one thing to do that, but you named off people that they were, disrespecting. That's never okay in my book.
Yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head. It's okay to have constructive criticism. It's okay to be a skeptic. That's fine. I'm all of that. It's another thing to dispense of hate, or to bully somebody, or to talk about somebody at a personal level. That's wrong. It's good. People need to understand those are two different things. two completely different things, and one is negative, and it's to be a skeptic and to question everything. That's my life. I question everything, but it's different. I don't dispense of hate. I don't accept it in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I could have a conversation with somebody who's pro-vaccine and I'm anti-vaccine, and we can have a perfectly calm and collected conversation. Or I can have a conversation with somebody who's calling me a child abuser and a killer, and I believe in junk science, and it's like, sorry, no time for that. Like, you are completely in cognitive dissonance, and I don't have time. But I wanted to circle back to your question about the kids.
Yes, go. Oh yeah, that was my whole point. So my question was, or it was more of a statement, and followed with the question, which is today, where we have our kids just absolutely fixated and addicted to all forms of media, when it comes to not only social media, but what about gaming, right? And like there's nothing wrong with that, but too much of anything is bad for you. And then you combine that with a really, really bad diet, and are they opening themselves up to getting something attached to them? Are they weakened?
I fully believe so. I absolutely believe. Absolutely. And then I was just listening to this thing on optogenetics where they can pulsate you with a light, and it changes your neurons in your brain. And they have experimented this, turning mice into predators. So a lot of this video gaming with the strobe lights is actually changing how their neurons are reacting with each other. It's crazy. It's also putting children or adults, any of us, into a hypnotic trance where we are being desensitized to the violence or whatever we're playing on the game. It's desensitizing us, which is further disconnecting us, which is making us want more of the video game, which is non-organic, opposed to having a conversation with somebody or taking a walk in nature. And yes, with the diet, with the high fructose corn syrup and just all the GMOs, and the GMOs are a spermicide, and it's a total agenda. And okay, so it's interesting. The GMOs will put micro tears in your intestines, and a lot of entities will attach into your intestines. So it's almost as if you're on a high GMO diet. You're being more susceptible just by your diet and physically weakening your intestines to let these entities attach into there.
I can't. When I look back at, I'm going to be 55. Okay, I'm going to be 55. I'm not 25 anymore. But I look back at the way society has programmed your brain to this processed agenda. Log cabin corn syrup to think about that for a sec. That it's just, they call it maple syrup, right? There's a big difference between that and Canadian maple syrup, right? Maple syrup from Vermont. That's two totally different things. And then every beverage that is made by every American company here, and what its contents are, those basic things across the board are eliminated from my life and replaced with the proper things. Right? I drink tons of water. I drink tons of everything, but I used to buy, it's crazy. I used to buy cases of Dr. Pepper. Right? I just the thought of it, I can't even drink it now or think about it. But all of that stuff has been replaced by the real things, and your body goes through this transition. I can't even look at that stuff. when you go to the supermarket, we were we were at Costco last week, and I'm going through and I'm watching this couple in front of me put in their cart the jumbo cases of soft drinks on their cart. Bam, bam, bam. And that used to be me, right? You know,
Yeah.
I know. And so, but our society is programmed that way, right? All the way down. And it's not just soft drinks. It's everything that you could potentially buy at the market.
Right.
Everything.
And all those chemicals carry an energetic frequency. So you're ingesting not just the chemical, but the frequency. Like homeopathic medicine, you never take a homeopathic medicine through the airport screener because it changes the frequency of the medicine. I'm not a naturopath, so I can't expand on that, but so everything has a vibration. And so you're ingesting that chemical vibration. It's gross. It takes a toll on you. It takes a mental toll on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I'm eating really clean, I think different.
Yes, and I want everybody to understand, I love to eat, and I love to eat all of the wrong foods, and I do it. But we cook everything, we select everything. Holly, you have witnessed what we do at our house, right?
Oh, it's amazing.
Right? It's all I mean, it's all the good fun stuff, but we make it. It's all properly selected, and it's all organic, and it's all the real things, and then we go to town. And I love to eat, but you can't. There is nothing from a can. There's nothing from a jar. There's nothing frozen. There's nothing processed. Everything that we do is cooked. We're chefs. And
yes, you guys are absolutely so gifted in that department. It's amazing. I can't believe the spread that Rita puts on. It's like undescribable.
Rita's amazing, but I got some chops too.
You do.
Okay.
You do.
All
absolutely. Right. Absolutely. But and here's the other thing too is the more chemicals in the food, the cheaper it is.
Yes. But that's exactly their point.
Yes.
It's a profit-based system. That's what it's not a health-based system. It's a profit-based system. And so, they're going to GMO. They're going to change stuff genetically. They're going to grow bigger, faster, cheaper food out there in the fields that are insect resistant, right? Disease resistant. The thought of Mother Nature accepting we got here a certain way. This planet did itself and evolved with itself. And now we're going to go change things at a DNA level, at a GMO level, genetically modify an organism, right? and expect Mother Nature to be okay with that, your body to be okay with that? No. And we're going to pay that price in 50 years. We're going to look at our children differently. Yes.
And I mean, then with the whole 5G coming in and the high powered, microwaves that we're being hit with in combination with everything, it's really crazy what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to go backwards, but we need to maybe slow this ship down a little bit and get it correct. We need to understand a little bit more about what's going on. I'm totally in agreement with you when it comes to microwaves and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all of this. Just not only inside of your own home, but it's coming from your neighbor's house. It's coming from the towers. It's everywhere now, and that combined with what we're doing with what do we what are the answers that we are going to have to seek in 20 years when we find out the soil doesn't grow anything anymore because we screwed it up with everything else that we have put into the ground?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that we've had the answers for hundreds, if not thousands of years. We have the Emerald Tablets. We have, the Hopi prophecies. We have all of these ancient texts, which we won't go into it, but I actually think they're from the future. And they were planted in our history so we could wake up. But we have all the answers, but we keep seeking new channelings, new messages, which is great, but we already have the answers. We're not doing what they're telling us to do, what these ancient prophecies are telling us to do. We just keep looking ahead. And the foundation has been put in place for us thousands of years ago. And, when the Caros say we're in the 6th extinction, like this is it. We've gone too far. There's no tipping back. We are in the 6th extinction already. And it's not a negative thing. It's just a cycle. But I don't think we had to get to this point. And I think that we keep seeking all this new, latest and greatest information. But now the people that are really trying to make change are seeking the ancient teachings, and they're implementing them. They're implementing them into their life. They're slowing down. And
I used to, we as a society used to laugh about, the men and women that would head to the mountains and live off the grid, right?
Right.
And we would laugh about that. Today, if anything went wrong, we would not know what to do. There's no way anybody in Los Angeles County, of which 25 million people here, if the grid got shut off, they die. That's it. There's no survival here in Los Angeles County. We'll be out of food in 2 days. There'll be no water or whatever. If anything happened, we are so dependent on technology today for everything. One little piece of that goes down, it all goes down. And it's going to go down fast. I'm not some fearmonger, some doomsday prepper guy. I'm saying that is reality, and that's where we have put ourselves 25 years ago. 25 years ago. I remember this talk about if there was a nuclear war, an electromagnetic pulse, that we would lose our cars. That was about as bad as it got. We didn't have our food system, our water system, our news, our information, everything on one grid, which is powered by the electricity, and I'm talking about the internet. Today, everything is completely dependent on that. That's a whole nother party if something goes down. We kind of laughed about it back then, right? It's not that way today. It's a whole different thing. So
it's not funny, and all this technology is just a reflection of how disconnected we really are.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. That's exactly it. I don't know how we can, just slowly back the ship up, just a little bit. Let's just back it up and take another look. Let's take a break right here, Holly. When we come back, let's talk a little soul tech. You down?
Absolutely.
Our guest tonight, Holly Marie, talking about the science of the shamanic arts. When we come back, we're going to talk about soul tech and East Eddy Ranch. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. What a conversation tonight with our good friend Holly Marie. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You guys dig it. You guys saw what I was doing during the break. That's pretty funny. Holly, and thank you for doing this overtime. I was just burning my Holly Marie sage. Yeah, I still have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we got so much of it. We got like pounds. And still have the Holly. I it was just saging the. Nothing. We've got lots of really cool exotic incense, and that's fine, and I enjoy that. But nothing calms me like sage. I don't know what it is. I'm serious too. I have no idea. I don't care about the therapeutic side. I don't care about the ceremony side. I don't the cultures and what it means. Any of that. It doesn't matter. I know what it does for me. That's it. It's a personal thing. I burn that stuff all the time. All the time. I got my own little ceremony too. I dance in a circle.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have Palo Santo?
I don't know. You have to ask Rita.
It's wood.
Yeah. Oh, we've got tons of that.
The Palo Santo wood, and you burn it.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. We just got back from Disclosure Fest, man. I've got all of it. But
that sounded so amazing.
It was amazing. It was like a UFO Burning Man Woodstock in downtown Los Angeles. It had everything going on. It was so cool.
I'm going next year.
Oh, man. Yeah. You've got to. Let's talk about Soltech. Talking about Woodstock and Burning Man. Let's talk about Soltech. Oh, okay. Before we get to the magic of ECETI, because that place is, I say it all the time, it's completely singular. There's great places. I love Joshua Tree and Sedona, and there's other, there's magical places around this country. There's no doubt about it. But ECETI Ranch, and Shasta's great. ECETI Ranch, incredible. And so after our experience that we shared with you, actually we road tripped. We road tripped to ECETI together. After our 4 days at ECETI, Rita and I knew that that's where we wanted to get the Fadernauts together this year, and we've succeeded in that. It's going to be amazing. And you're a big part of that, and thank you. I mean, we designed all of this thought process around you and Mark. Of course, Mark is going to be up there digging ditches. He's going to be digging ditches and building yurts while we're up there. But nonetheless, what are you going to be focusing on in your classes?
Well, first, I'm so thankful for the opportunity to do this. I'm really thankful. Like, the lineup of speakers is crazy incredible. So I'm going to be doing a DNA clearing, and I'm not quite sure how it's worded on there, but I've come up with my own journey where I actually have people bring up what they're feeling, and then I have them actually zoom in on their DNA, and then zoom in on that fractal that's replicating the negative or undesired emotion. So I'm going to be doing that DNA healing. It's a super cool journey. And then I'm going to end in some sort of ceremony, and I'm trying to get the head count for that, because if it's small enough, I'm going to be able to give a Moonai key right. If it's too big for that, I'm going to come up with something else that'll be super fun. And then the other thing that I'm doing is how we're talking about that false sense of connection through technology, is what I'm going to do is the Lemurians used, and this is real science, they used to wear their pineal gland on the outside of their forehead. Like, their gland was on the outside of their forehead. And that's, where we have our spiritual experiences. It's where we jump to different dimensions. It's like our Stargate. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take people into the Apus, or the mountain of Shasta. In Quechuan, the language, Apu is...
You mean Mount Adams?
No, Shasta.
How are you going to do that from Mount Adams?
Magic. It's magic. So we're actually going to go in on a journey into Telos, which is inside Mount Shasta, into the Jade Lemurian Temple, and we're going to meet 3 Lemurian guides, and we're going to bring our pineal gland to the front of our forehead where it's supposed to be, but we regressed thanks to the Atlanteans. We digressed back, and we physically lost our connection, and it moved to the center of our head. So I'm going to take people on a journey to move the pineal gland to their forehead, back to their third eye, to open up their psychic senses and awarenesses.
Why you've been to ECETI so many times? What makes it so sacred, so special? What do you think is going on there?
I'm what I truly think it is? You know how I talked earlier, and then Billy Carson talked about when you write spells, when you're writing, you're creating a spell. Well, James Gilliland went through a 12-year legal battle to make that ranch a divine province. So when we create contracts and certificates and agreements and we sign them, we are creating spells and boundaries and limitations. It's contracting you, right? And so I believe that ECETI holds so much energy, like this vortex was created because he actually changed the laws. He actually changed the laws and made it a divine province, and that allowed the energies to roam freely on that property. Like it created a vortex. That's what I think.
And then we have the whole ET component too as well, because there's plenty of stuff there going on from the earth, right? There's plenty of that, whatever you want to focus on, and the energy is there. But then there's the stuff that's coming at us from the stars and all around Mount Adams. I can't explain. I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, I believe that because it's a divine province, like these dimensions are actually allowed to flow there. It's created a vortex that reaches up. But I'm telling you, those lights on Mount Adams, the ones that go underneath the glacier, those trip me out.
Yeah, those trip me out a lot. And they're always there too as well. So you can be looking up at the sky at something, looking to the left, looking to the right, and then you get a little lull. And they're like, okay, let's go back to the mountain, right? They're always, it's like crazy. Now, I'm going to let the audience know, most know who you are, but they've heard me describe and tell about this experience that I had up at ECETI that I had with Mark. And, well, two things happened with Mark. And one was our famous sighting. Mark and I were standing there, and I looked to the left and out over to the west, and I see this bright star planet thing just sitting out there in the sky. And I turn to Mark and I go, dude, check that out. Mark's like, yeah, that wasn't there a second ago. And I go, yeah. And as we stand, and he's got binoculars, right? And I've got the night vision. And we both turn around, and as we turned and stood, it took about 5 seconds. And it's sitting in the sky, and it had a couple of other stars around it, just sitting there like a planet. And then all of a sudden it lights up and then takes off like a dragster to the north. And we're like, what does that? You know, and I had that with Mark. Mark and I, your husband, we were able to just stand there in awe and watch that happen. And then the day before, Mark and I were out in the medicine wheel, out in the Field of Dreams, and we had our little 5 or 10 minute little ceremony thing with James Gilliland. And it freaked me out so much. That was our first night there. We got there on Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So that was on Thursday evening, probably about 5 o'clock. And so Mark and I and James are out there, and we did this thing, and I was still a little, I'm riding on the skeptic horse, right, at this point. And so anyway, when this thing happened with the three of us, and I went into the zone, and I came out of it, and I looked at James, and I just started making these tasteless jokes. You know, it's like I was putting up the defense shield, right? Because I didn't want to admit what just happened. And James goes, did you feel that, man? Did you hear it? And I go, that was the shrimp salad I had for lunch, you know. And I'm not cracking jokes because I'm thinking to myself, did that just, you know? And Mark is like, man, that was cool, man. That was great. And I'm like, man. Welcome to ECETI, right? And that was the beginning of it all. And I went through Mark. I went through that with Mark. That was, I can't wait to see him again. I can't wait.
Yeah, you know, ECETI is just, everybody has an experience there. I've never had anyone walk away, go, oh, I didn't have an experience. Every single person has had some sort of shift, awakening, experience, sighting. It never fails up there. And, you know, if people are on the fence about going, if they're not sure about Soul Tech or another conference at ECETI, they should really come have the experience. It will change them and they will never forget it.
That's right. I mean, that's one of the best points anybody can make. Just treat it as a getaway. That's all. Just treat it as that. If you're on the fence, if you're skeptical, great. You're the perfect person that needs to go to ECETI. That's, but just go there without any expectations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But alone, just from all of the amazing experiences alone, just that drive up the river, over the bridge, into Trout Lake is so healing just on its own. It's so serene. It's so calming. And you're coming into that disconnect.
Yeah, you're driving. You're so right. The journey there is so beautiful. And as you drive, you're going further and further away from civilization and technology. And you can feel it, right? And it's a beautiful drive. You're going through the mountains, like you say. You're going across the bridge. You drive past the falls, right? You see all of these great things and the mountains. And the further you drive, you look over your shoulder and it's getting behind you, right? And by the time,
absolutely,
by the time you get to Trout Lake, and it's named Trout Lake for a reason, there's nothing there. There's a stop sign, right? That's it. And you realize that you've arrived. Now, I wanted to ask you, I talk about ferries all the time in my little experience that I went through up at ECETI. But when people talk about these things, ferries or these things that happen at ECETI, it's not an exaggeration. Do you have a ferry story?
Yeah, I do have a ferry story.
I want to hear it.
So I was sitting in the Pleiadian circle with Monica, Jason Quitt's wife, and she's like, let's call in the fairies. I'm like, I don't feel any fairies. Man, the second I was like, I don't feel any fairies. No joke, it felt like tons of butterflies were just like tickling my cheeks, like little butterfly wings. And there's no denying what I felt. There was no breeze. There was not a single breeze in the air, and just all these fairies. And I don't see, I feel. I'm more kinesthetic. And I could just feel, and all the fairies came in, and you could feel the energy change. And it was really amazing. But I have not had them take anything from me at ECETI yet.
I did. My story.
Right.
Oh, that's a real, there are, I can post the pictures. I'll find them. There is a set of shots from a variety of different people that when I was on stage that night, and I had already lost the ring, but I didn't, the ring had been gone all day. I just didn't notice it, which is another trippy thing. Because I don't know. I don't know how those fairies pulled it off. Not only pulled it off my finger, but pulled it off that I didn't know about it. I wasn't aware about it all day. Anyway, there's pictures, and I'm holding the microphone, and the ring is gone. It's gone. And I did not know. I didn't know until we got back to go to bed that night. And I'm taking, jewelry off, and that's when I noticed it was gone. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, Mark is the one that found your ring.
Mark is the one and I didn't know about that. Oh, see, now this is the other. Okay, now that's Mark experience number 3 for ECETI. I forgot about that part. Okay, so Mark and I, I know that I was by myself. I think Mark was there for a second, but where he found the ring, which I didn't find out about this until much later after I got the ring back. I walked out and Mark told me that he had found the ring. And where he found it. Mark found the ring underneath a chair inside the conference center. Now, I was sitting in that chair one time at like 10 o'clock in the morning the day before. That's it. I spent like a half hour in that chair. I was listening to somebody speak, and this is all the way in the back of the conference center, everybody, and there's some chairs back there. Nice white leather chairs, right? And you know the ones I'm talking about, Holly. And so I'm sitting there, and I got up and walked out. I'm sitting in a chair watching the conference. How does a ring just fall off my hand, hit the floor, roll underneath the chair where he found it, and it sat there for a day? He found it the next day. That's great. That's just great. It's just, the whole experience is just nutty to me. And
well, it's what's crazy is when the ring was on your finger, it was on your finger. It wasn't a loose fit.
No.
I witnessed that. It was not a loose fitting ring.
You cannot take the...
No way.
No, I struggle with it every single day to put it on and take it off. Yes. And the whole experience to me is just bizarre. And the next morning when Rita said, "Okay, you got to give in to the fairies. Okay, just ask for the ring back." I'm like, "Oh man, okay, fairies, can I please have my ring back?" And please, I really love that ring. I want it back. And I know it sounds silly to hear me say this now, but that's what I said. 5 minutes later, walked into ECETI, and I had the ring given back to me. And then, so I go outside, and this is the weird thing, because I got the ring back 5 minutes later after I asked for it. That's pretty bizarre. Then I go outside, and I'm telling you guys a story, and Mark goes, "Oh, yeah, I found it a few minutes ago." Now, I just asked for the ring back. Mark finds it, and I get the ring. That's, okay. It sounds like crazy talk, people. It does. You need to go to ECETI and have your own fairy story. It's going to happen. And you know what's funny is everybody is warned at ECETI, aren't they? Beware of the fairies. Okay,
yes, they are.
Yeah, we're telling you right now they exist. Did you see the and be kind to the fairies? Did you see the photograph? I don't know who took it, but the photograph of the fairy in the blue orb out by the tree by the medicine wheel?
I didn't see it, but I believe a woman named Karen. A woman named Karen from Portland took that, right. And she is up at ECETI all the time. She'll be there for Soul Tech.
She came up to me. I'm telling everybody the story, right? And she comes up to me and she goes, "I took this picture." She takes out her cell phone and shows it to Rita and I. And I'm here. I will say this like everything that is holy in my life. I'm telling you right now. It is a tree with, I'm going to say that the orb was probably 4 inches around, 5 inches, the size of a softball. Clear blue with Tinkerbell in it.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. It is a blue orb with Tinkerbell. Clear, the most perfect photograph, and you blow it up on the phone and you look, and it's Tinkerbell in a blue orb, right in the tree. It's crazy. Well, right next to the tree, unbelievable in daylight. It's just like, man,
yes, absolutely. Now, what's interesting is it's Soul Tech. It's gonna be really crazy because we're all going to be teaching something, so everyone's consciousness is going to be expanded even more on this really active land already. Things are going to happen.
That's right. And we've got Jason Quitt's going to be there with all of his video gear. We're going to have lots of video cameras there running all of the time. Of course, everybody is going to have a cell phone and video camera, but things get photographed and you'll be able to document. Things happen up there. And this time around, there's going to be a lot of technology out there in the field of dreams 24/7. And I just can't wait to get this on lockdown. We're going to have the best time. And hopefully there's going to be something caught. I'm just imagining, 4 days of night watch. And then all of these, like you said, all of these fadernauts running around consciously vibing.
Right.
It's going to go down. It's going to go down. Thank you so much, Holly. And give my best to Mark in Phoenix. And is Phoenix going to come with you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. They're going to come part of the time, and then they have a BMX race, and then they'll be back.
Because there's going to be a few kids up there. And I can't wait for all of them to be able to run around and experience the magic of ESETI. It's going to be so much fun. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, Holly, where can everybody find you and get a hold of you?
My new website is earthsonghealings.com, made by the wonderful Modern Masters. And you can find me there, or you can find me on Facebook, Holly Marie, or Ascend with Holly.
Now, there's a way to contact you?
Absolutely. You can email me through my website, or you can email me at hollymcook72@gmail.
There you go. Holly, thank you so much. And I can't believe this, but we're almost in July, and then Soul Tech is here. It's just like that. So we're going to see you in about 5 weeks right up there at ESETI. I'm very excited.
I cannot wait to see you guys.
It's going to be an amazing weekend. Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Holly M. Cook, Holly Marie. Now, earthsonghealings.com is the website. And if you go over to jimmychurchradio.com, the links are right there. You can just click on it. And whatever it is that you feel that you need to speak to Holly about, and it could be a clearing. It could be some healing that you need, maybe an extraction or a soul retrieval. All of those things are possible with Holly, and you can go straight to earthsonghealings.com. It's right there. And I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, Jason Louv is going to be here. The last time he was on with us, we talked about John Dee and his new book. But tomorrow night, we're going to talk about technology and Jason's experience, and what he has done in the field of technology is extraordinary. So tomorrow night, when he is here, you're going to want to listen to everything that Jason has to say. We're going to talk about AR. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about all of the social media that is going on out there. Everything is going to be covered tomorrow night on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. And then, also want to remind everybody that on Thursday night, John Rappaport is back on the road. It's back on the road. What he is doing, that's for him to tell you about it another day. So Thursday night's going to be straight open lines all night long. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Webmaster Drew the Geek, music Doug Aldrich, intro Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black of the Game Changer Network. Until tomorrow night with Jason Louv, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.